We're going to talk about right-sizing the fear. There's extremes and how to get it to the right place, overcoming fear with faith, and then there are some amazing verses from Bhagavad Gita where Krishna is inspiring Arjun, right? Because Arjun is fearful, starting off the battle. Although he's a Kshatriya, is the best archer in the world, he is fearful. And it's beautifully Krishna as a friend, as a teacher, is guiding Arjun through the process. So we're going to discuss some of those verses that hopefully will inspire you and enhance your confidence as well. And then we'll talk about meditation and mind control. And eventually, once we go through this, you would have built some confidence in Krishna who's within you, inside your heart. So how do you know, right? What is right knowledge? Because in today's world, especially India, there's so many people, Babas with so many daris and this and that, talking about spirituality. So what I'm going to speak is coming from a lineage called Brahma Madhava Gauriya Sampradaya, which is coming from Lord Krishna directly to Lord Brahma, Madhvacharya, like that, Narad Muni, coming down to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, and then what we know today as ISKCON is where this knowledge is coming, unbroken, unchanged knowledge of Bhagavad Gita as it is. So like I said, in that chain, so this is my initiation picture where I was officially connected to that chain of teachers and students. So the first verse I want to share with you, this is a very inspirational verse, and Krishna starts here, the Bhagavad Gita, the very beginning in chapter 2. So Krishna doesn't speak in chapter 1. Chapter 2, Arjun finally surrenders to Krishna and says, I don't know what to do, what is good for me. Please, Krishna, become my teacher and tell me what is best for me. And Krishna starts speaking, and one of the earlier verses in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, in this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. So what does that mean? In this path. So firstly, I want to congratulate all of you because guess what? Today is a very special day. Some of you are starting your spiritual journey today. Some of you are already continuing your spiritual journey today. But to just hear and talk about Bhagavad Gita on this day, at this specific time of the year, is most auspicious. So congratulations. So what Krishna is saying in Sanskrit, what Krishna says is, Trayate mahato bhayat. Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. So swalpam, alpa means less. Swalpa means very, very less. So very little endeavor in this path of dharma. What we're doing so if after this webinar, you never ever do anything spiritual in your life, still Krishna says, Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahat. Your biggest fear will be gone. What is your biggest fear? But according to our scriptures, the biggest fear that we don't know, and we're going to only face it when death comes in front of us, is what happens after death. What happens after death? I used to be a child with asthma. So there were many times I would get this asthma attacks and I would feel like I cannot breathe and I would be shutting down, my vision would be becoming dark, and many times I felt I'm going to die. And I remember, this was far before Bhagavad Gita came to my life, I remember feeling, oh my God, my parents not going to be there. Where am I going next? What is the next destination? That is the biggest fear one has, is what happens after death. And later on in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that one who has made some positive steps in this direction is guaranteed a human birth. So don't worry, you will not go to hell. You will not be born as a dog or a cat, right? If you've tasted prasadam, or if you've heard some Krishna Katha, or you're done something pious or spiritual in your life, you're guaranteed a human birth. So anybody born in India, by default, is guaranteed a human birth in the next life. So you're not going to have a bad, so-called downgrade. You're going to at least be at the same level or better, right? So that's the first, confident giving verse Krishna gives. That swalpam asya dharmasya trayate mahate bhaya. That little bit of progress in this path of dharma, and you will be freed from the greatest of fear, right? And that you might not realize it right now, but as you go through this journey of spirituality, slowly, you'll notice you'll not be fearful of death. You'll not be fearful of your parents. You'll dying. You'll not be fearful of health, job, competition, all of that. Nothing, no one can ever blackmail you or manipulate you, because fear is a tool in the hands of other people to twist you and turn you. Like, if you do this, I will do this. If you don't do this, you will see the consequences, right? So many cases, what happens, sometimes the boss will be like, if you don't work 80 hours a week, I'm going to not give you that promotion. So you work very hard, you miss your child's birthday, if you screw up your entire family life just to make sure you get that promotion. So fear allows other people to twist us, to blackmail us, to force us to do things we don't want to do. But through the process, as we move in the process of spirituality, the more advanced we are, the less fearful we are. Abhay, right? The less fearful we are, because we feel Krishna's presence. And by default, when Krishna is present in our life, or like Krishna is present in the chariot, like Arjun, right? Krishna is present in the chariot and Arjun feels no fear. He's like, I'm ready to fight. Beginning of Bhagavad Gita, he's crying in chapter 2. I don't want to fight. I don't know what I'm going to do. I want to go to the Himalayas. Oh my God. I want to go beg. I don't want to fight this war. At the end of Bhagavad Gita, Arjun says, Karishye vachanam tava. I will do what you say, my dear Krishna. Now I know you're God. I'll do what you say. And he's completely fearless, and he fights that war and he wins it. Even though the Kauravas had more army on their side and the Pandavas had less army on their side, right? Still, the Pandavas won because Krishna was on the chariot. So once you realize Krishna is in the chariot of your heart, your fear will subside. You'll be fearless. That doesn't mean arrogant, but you'll be fearless. You cannot be manipulated. You cannot be traumatized. You cannot be blackmailed. Right? You will have self-confidence. You know that if Krishna wants to take care of you, he will. If Krishna wants you to fail, he will. So your relationship with Krishna, that's what matters, not anything else. Nobody else has any power over you. So you will not give the remote control of your life to somebody else's hand. That's what it happens. But it doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey. It starts, and slowly, gradually, you become fearless and more fearless. Right. Now I'll tell you a little story of this demoniac king named Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was a very demoniac king who did tapasya for thousands of years, and finally, so he got to see Lord Brahma face to face. And when he saw Lord Brahma face to face, he said, I want to be immortal. And Lord Brahma says, that's not possible. Even I die, right? Only Krishna is immortal, and he can give you immortality. I cannot. And Hiranyakashipu has an issue with Vishnu or Krishna. So he is like, no, not that Vishnu. You have to give me some way to live forever. And then Hiranyakashipu thought, let me trick this guy. Let me say, okay, I cannot be killed by man or animal. I cannot be killed during the day or night. I cannot be killed in sky or on ground, etc., etc. Many combination of logic. And Hiranyakashipu said that, and Brahma said, yes, fine. You will not be killed by any of these things. And he thought, haha, what a fool. I just became immortal. Brahma didn't even realize it. Now, Brahma is the most intelligent creator of this universe, right? But arrogance and pride makes you like that. So Hiranyakashipu thought, this guy doesn't realize he just gave me immortality. And it so happened. Hiranyakashipu, after he came back, he became a very powerful king, and all the demigods, devatas, Indra and everybody were like at his feet. Like his staircase was demigods, devatas. So he'd be walking on top of these devatas, right? If the sun was shining too brightly, he would just raise his eyebrow, and the sun would be like, oh, Hiranyakashipu was upset. Maybe reduce my sunlight a little bit. So he had that kind of prowess as a king. He was the most powerful person for a bit of time in this universe. But he had a 5-year-old boy who was completely fearless. Everybody was fearful of Hiranyakashipu except his own son. Why? Because when Hiranyakashipu was doing his tapasya out there, his wife, who was pregnant, she got the access to hearing from Narad Muni about Krishna Katha, about Bhagavatam. And because Narad Muni was speaking, he's a pure devotee, and Prahlad Maharaj in the womb of his mother heard the stories about Lord Krishna. He was born a devotee. So he was fearless because he was completely attached to Krishna. He was always thinking of Krishna. So he was completely fearless. And on the right-hand side over here on the screen, you can see, his father, when he saw that Prahlad, his son, was fearless, he was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to send you to school and you're going to learn politics and economics. Now, politics and economics, so that you can be a king and kingly things, and you don't have to worry about God and things like that. And what happened, Prahlad started preaching to his own friends, right? And he was always talking Krishna Katha. His father didn't like this. His father was like, this is not good. And first, in history, the first child abuse case happened, right? His father tried to kill his own son, and there were many ways he tried to kill. So in this case, he was tried to be, they were trying to kill him by poking in. All these demons are trying to kill him. Not a scratch on Prahlad's body. They came back to Hiranyakashipu like, what's going on? Then they threw him from the mountain. And if you can see, it's a little faint. Over here at the bottom, you see there is Vishnu at the bottom. Lord Vishnu is at the bottom. So they threw Prahlad, but Lord Vishnu caught him. Right? And Prahlad was completely fearless. Now understand this, when people try to commit suicide from jumping from buildings, right? It is, I've heard from a medical professional that by the time they fall, the fear of hitting the ground is so strong that they have a heart attack and they die before even hitting the ground. Right? And then there's a thud. The head hits the ground first and they actually clinically die. But in Prahlad's case, he was pushed from the mountain. He fell and he just didn't even notice that he was falling. He was completely had faith that Krishna will save him. And he fell on Lord Vishnu's lap. And like this, one after another, Hiranyakashipu tried to kill his son, tried to burn him, put him in a pit of snakes. When he was put in a pit of snakes, he's like, oh, snakes, Balaram is Ananda Sesh. So these are my uncles. They're not going to harm me. So he always had this faith in Krishna so strong that always protected him. And finally, Krishna couldn't take this. And one day, where Hiranyakashipu was like frustrated and saying, where do you get your strength from, my dear son? How are you so fearless? Everybody's fearful of me. But where do you get your strength from? That time Prahlad said, well, you and I get our strength from the same source. And that source is Krishna or Vishnu. And he said, really? Where is he? He said, he's everywhere. Is he in this pillar? And he kicked that pillar. And Prahlad said, yes, he's there. And Narshingadev came out. So this is very much glorified. Keshava Dhrita Narahari Rupa. So Lord Krishna, who's so beautiful, playing the flute, soft person, he takes on this ferocious form of half lion, half human. Why? Because he had the benediction, right? Hiranyakashipu was given that blessing by Lord Brahma that he cannot be killed by human or animal during day or night, in the sky or in the ground. So what did he do? Narshingadev. So Krishna, in the form of Narshingadev, he took the form of Narshingadev and came. So he's half human, half lion. He appeared during dusk, which is not day, not night. And he killed Hiranyakashipu on his lap, which is not the sky or not the ground. So you think you're smart, you try to hack the system. Krishna is so much smarter, right? So there he killed Hiranyakashipu. And you can see little Prahlad standing there completely fearless with a garland. So Prahlad Maharaj, to me and to many others, is embodiment of fearlessness just by remembering God, remembering Krishna. That's his greatest quality. And also, if you see in Mahabharata, Krishna had promised, I will never take a weapon in this war. I will never fight this war. I'll only be a charioteer for Arjun. But even here, if you see, Krishna's protective nature comes out. When Arjun was decimated, he was being shot arrows by Bhishma Dev so vigorously that Arjun was bound to die. Krishna stood up like this and he took the arrows. And finally, when the chariot was broken down, Krishna took out one of the wheels of the chariot, as you see in this picture, and he ran towards Bhishma Dev to kill him. And when Bhishma Dev saw Krishna coming to kill him, Bhishma Dev surrendered. He dropped his weapon and said, "This is the perfection of my life. If I die in your hands, my dear Krishna, there's nothing better than this." But what you get to see here is Krishna is breaking his promise to protect his devotee. And that is the nature of God as we know him. Because we don't know God, we are fearful. It's like, many of you might have a dog at home or a cat at home, right? There are street dogs and street cats, right, who have to fight for food. People throw stones at them, people torture them. But a dog that you have, you take care of your dog. Your dog travels in your car. Your dog eats the same food that you eat, right? Your dog or cat has the luxury of sleeping on your bed. All of that because they have a master. So similarly, because we don't know about God, we are fearful. We don't know how God is, or our relationship is not there. But when the relationship is established, like Prahlad had with Nrsimhadev or Krishna, Krishna is personally there to protect us from all kinds of difficulties, but there is a price for it. It is not free. It is not like it's for everyone, because all of us are just instruments of karma. We are doing something good happened. Doing something bad happens. So karma is automated. There is no role of God in the karmic process. You do something, you get something. But those who establish a relationship with Krishna, for them it's different. For them, at the end of Bhagavad Gita, so I gave you the first verse, beginning of Bhagavad Gita. At the end of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, "Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Aham tam sarva papebhyo mokshashyami ma suchaha." Ma suchaha means do not fear. Do not fear. Krishna is saying, right? If Amitabh Bachchan says do not fear, it's a movie. It's not real. But when Krishna says do not fear, it's reality because he is God. But what is he saying before that? He says abandon all varieties of religion. That means give up all varieties of religion. So in the Bhagavad Gita, you have to understand, Krishna talks about all varieties of dharma. Sarva dharman parityajya. He says sarva dharman, whatever I've taught you, forget about it. Karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, forget about it. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam. Mam, me, ekam. Only surrender to me. Sharanam vraja. Sharanam means surrender. Take shelter of me alone. Aham tam sarva papebhyo. Whatever paap you have from past life, jo bhi paap hai, everything will be burnt. Aham tam sarva papebhyo. I will deliver you from all sinful reactions, all paap. Moksha shami. I will give a liberation also. Ma suchaha, don't fear. Krishna is saying it. This is Krishna's own words, right? So between the two verses of the Bhagavad Gita, there is the Bhagavad Gita. So it's not like we shouldn't read the Gita and just like, okay, Krishna is saying, surrender unto me and that's it. Fine. We need to know how to surrender. And for that, we need to know who is Krishna, how to surrender, what's the process look like, how to build relationship with Krishna, who is Krishna. Sometimes we say we love God. And many of you, if I ask you, you'll probably say you're a theist and not an atheist. You're an astic, not an astic. But what you'll realize is that you don't know who God is. And if you don't know someone, how can you love that person? For example, let's say you're a man and you say you love your wife very much. Now, if I ask you, what do you like about your wife? I just love her. Okay, that's wonderful. Is she tall or short? Is she sweet or is she spicy? Is she, intelligent? Is she, what is it that you love about her? Oh, I don't know much about her, but I love her. Right? That's a hollow statement because you need to know the person you love. So when you say you love God, without knowing God, it's not possible to love God. And without loving God, that fearlessness will not come. Just like when you're a child, your father throws you up in the air and you fall on your father's hand. A child, when he's falling on his father's hand, he laughs because he's fearless or she's fearless because my father will hold me. That relationship is there, the trust, the faith is there. But when that faith is not there, just a stranger throws a child up in the air, child is crying, oh my God, am I going to die? Am I going to fall and die? Right? Why? Because if the relationship is not there. So that relationship has to be built between Krishna and you. And then the fearlessness will naturally come, where you know that nature of Krishna is Bhakta Vatsal. That means to protect his devotees. And he says that in the Bhagavad Gita, right? That yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata, that I come century after century, in Satya Yuga, in Dwapar Yuga, in Treta Yuga, in Kali Yuga, I keep coming. And paritranaya sadhunam, those who are my devotees, paritranayam, to free them, and vinashacha duskrita, to destroy those who are the duskritas. So Krishna is partial to his devotees. God is partial to those who have a relationship with God. Those who don't have a relationship with God are in the automated process of karma. Do good, get good. Do bad, get bad. Life after life, automated process keeps going like a washing machine. The process of bhakti is different. With Krishna, when you have a relationship, he changes laws for you. Just to give you an example, that's another story. So Arjun's son gets killed. Abhimanyu gets killed in the battle of Kurukshetra. And it was a trickery. He was tricked into being killed. And Arjun makes a promise that those who are responsible for this, tomorrow, before sunset, I will kill that person, or else I will, light myself into fire. I will kill myself if I'm not able to kill that person. So I think his name was Drishtadyumna, if I can remember correctly. So what the Kauravas did, they were like, this is great. We're going to make sure Drishtadyumna is diagonally opposite side of the battlefield. That means the diagonal aspect of Kurukshetra battlefield was 18 miles. So he was put 18 miles away from where Arjun was. And diagonally they were killing on their way to reach Drishtadyumna, right? Krishna was, going through the chariot and Arjun was killing, and they were killing on their way to reach Jayadratha. Thank you for correcting. Jayadratha. Okay. Jayadratha. So they were going through. And then finally, when he almost reached, Jayadratha's side, the sun had set. And the sun had set, and obviously conch shells were blown, and, now Kauravas were super happy that Arjun is finally going to die and we're going to watch him die, right? And Jayadratha comes out of the crowd and he's like, let me watch you die. I killed your son yesterday and now you're going to die. So Arjun was devastated. Krishna saw, okay, here is Jayadratha. And he said, because he's God, he can do anything, right? So he changed the laws of the universe. He looked at the sun and told the sun to come back again. The sun had already set. He raised the sun. He said, Arjun, there is a sun, there is Jayadratha. Now go kill him. Right? This is the second time Krishna breaks his promise in the battle of Kurukshetra. The first time he was holding that wheel of chariot trying to kill Bhishma Dev to protect Arjun. Second time, he changes the laws of the universe to protect Arjun, right? And he makes sure Arjun kills Jayadratha. Now, will you say that's fair? It's not. And Krishna is not fair. He is partial to his devotees. That's the nature of God. When you know who God is, when you have the relationship with God, that's when faith develops. And it's not just Arjun. It's for all of us who are practicing Krishna consciousness. For a while, you will notice miracles will happen every day in your life. Krishna's presence will be felt every day in your life. Just get started in the process, and I promise you, you will be messaging me constantly that, wow, today I felt this, today I felt that, because whatever you're doing, you will always find Krishna's fingerprints in your life, right? Just like when there is a murder scene that has happened, the forensics come and look for fingerprints, right? Similarly, bad example, but you get the point. When Krishna is in your life, you'll always find ways where Krishna will leave certain clues for you to know that I was here. I was here to protect you. Don't fear. Ma Suchaha, I am here for you. Ma Suchaha, don't fear. So sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tam sarva papebhyo mokshashyami ma suchaha. Do not fear, Krishna is saying. I should probably end right now. Krishna said it. Do not fear. That's it, right? So there's healthy fear versus unhealthy fear. Do not fear, or fearlessness does not mean arrogance, like I said, right? It means that fear doesn't cripple you. When you are crippled by fear of losing someone or losing money or losing a career or social rejection or public speaking and all of that, it cripples you, right? You sweat, your heart is pounding, you cannot think properly. It's like your computer shuts down, right? When it overheats. So that's kind of our situation when we are fearful. But I have spoken more than 500 different opportunities, from White House to Rashtrapati Bhavan to TED Talks to TV shows. I am an introvert. My first show was in Calcutta in a place called Ravindra Sadan. And I still remember I was praying so hard that something changes in the universe and I don't have to go and recite this Tagore poetry. And I cried and I did all the things and nothing happened. I had to go out and speak. And after all these speaking engagements, I tell you, even today when I get on stage, there is a healthy dose of fear. Even now, before this webinar, I went to Krishna and I said, my dear Krishna, please give me some words that I can speak so that people can feel inspired and be freed from fear. I don't know anything, but if you give me the intelligence, maybe I can say something that can instill fearlessness in those that are coming to this webinar. So I was praying to Krishna because there's fear in my heart, but there's a healthy fear. That fear keeps you from becoming arrogant, from becoming overconfident, from becoming, from becoming intoxicated. Just like when you drink, you start seeing little less, hearing little less. Why? Because, that's the thing about alcohol that makes you a little tipsy. Similarly, with overconfidence, with arrogance, with so-called fearlessness, what happens is you stop seeing things. Maybe you're going downhill. People are not liking you, losing friends, but you stop noticing that because you're so full of yourself. That kind of fearlessness is not healthy. A little bit of fear that keeps you grounded is healthy fear. But unhealthy fear is that which makes you completely, immobile, that makes you not able to think, that makes you crippled. That kind of fear is harmful to your mind and to your body. There are people, just to give you an example, there was a very big CEO who had embezzled money from his company. And there was audit happening, income tax raid and audits were happening. And he knew that when the auditors are done, he is going to jail. And he couldn't take that embarrassment. So he went to a hotel and he basically locked himself up. He was ordering food, not going out at all. He was very, very fearful. And every day he kept on saying, oh my God, I'm going to die. Oh my God, I'm going to die. And in 5 days, he died. In 5 days, he just died by just being fearful. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And that's it, right? It's a bad situation. But the point I'm trying to get across is fear can be very detrimental. That can, if it takes over your mind, then it'll take over your body. And, eventually the worst things can happen. But one who is connected to Krishna, it's different. The strength comes from within, because the impossible becomes possible when Krishna desires it. And it's not 5,000 years ago in Bhagavad Gita. It's happening today. I can tell you myself, I've been through so many things. My businesses have gone up. I've made millions of dollars, and I have had days when I have only 30 cents, which is nothing more than 20 rupees in my bank account. I'm telling this publicly for the first time. I've gone through both those situations and I've survived, right? The point is, when I had the 20 rupees in my bank account, I was fearless because I knew Krishna is going to bring me up. Because, like I said, my entrepreneurial journey and my spiritual journey started together. And learning Krishna consciousness helped me through those downtimes, because business is risky, right? Startups are risky. So when you go through that downtime, people think, oh my God, let me quit and get a job. Why am I doing this? I have a US degree and this, that, I can just get a job. I didn't quit. Until date, go through ups and downs. Corona, all these things are happening. Of course, is there issues with revenue and finances? Absolutely. But there's always, I can feel Krishna holding my hand, right? And that's the beauty of fearlessness. Fearlessness doesn't mean the situation changes, that the circumstances change. Fearless means you're fearless in holding Krishna hand, or Krishna is in your chariot, and you face your difficulties full on. Your mind is working full on, and you're able to think creatively and go through life's difficulties and absolutely, win that battle of life. That's what Arjun did. It was impossible for them to win. All the good warriors were on that side. And the Pandava side, they had Krishna, and that's it. That's where they won. When there was an option for Duryodhan and Arjun to choose, Duryodhan chose Krishna's army. Arjun chose, Krishna, I just want you on my chariot. And that's it. That's the intelligence of Arjun. Of course, love also. When Krishna is on the chariot, he's the source of that army. If he's on my chariot, of course I'll win, right? And we need to invite Krishna to the chariot of our heart. That's what makes us fearless. And then we can, head on, meet with any fearful situation and come out victorious. In fact, the last verse of Bhagavad Gita, that's what Sanjay says. He says, my conclusion is that wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, wherever there's Arjun, the greatest of archers, Dhanurdhar, right? There's going to be victory, morality, and all opulence. Victory. You'll always win. Where is Krishna and Arjun? In the words of Bhagavad Gita. That's where they are. So right-sizing your fear. What does that mean? So when we are in a fearful situation, let's take a practical example, right? Right now, people are losing jobs, Corona, this, that, all kinds of problems. So when you're in that situation, what happens is the mind tends to be like, oh my God, the worst thing is going to happen. You're going to lose your job. You're going to be destitute. You're not going to be able to pay your EMI and whatnot. That's the worst case scenario. Then there is also the best case scenario, that you might just keep your job and everything will be okay. You might even get a bonus. And things might be good. And chances are that somewhere in the middle is where you will fall. Statistically speaking, somewhere in the middle, that's your life. That's right sizing your fear. So generally what happens is, when you are in this fearful state, your mind goes crazy and mind amplifies. Mind starts amplifying things and you're thinking, oh my God, the worst is going to happen. But when you write it down or talk to somebody, you yourself realize it's not so bad. If I lose a job, given, I could probably find another job. It might be 2-3 months. I have some savings. Yeah, I should be able to find another job. Not a problem. So right sizing the fear is getting out of the mental zone, getting out of your mind, and either writing it down or talking to a trusted friend or spouse or sibling or someone. And when you speak, when you verbalize your fear, right? I am feeling fearful because, why? Because I am thinking I might not have money to pay my EMI. I might lose my car. I might lose my house. I might lose my whatever, right? But is it really going to happen? Do you have some time? Yes. Will you be able to find a job in that time? Yes. And now that we are learning about Krishna, will Krishna help you? Of course. Of course. Krishna says, I maintain and sustain all living entities. He's maintaining the elephant in the African forest, right? He's maintaining the ant. He can maintain you too. He's a supplier. So when you have relationship with Krishna, you're fearless. And Krishna will take care of you in his own way. It might not be you. So I'll give you an example. It might not be you trying to get a job at Microsoft and Krishna is supposed to give you that job. He might give you something else. One of my mentees in Chicago, he told me, he said, Prabhu, please pray to Krishna that I get this job with Orbitz. Orbitz was a startup, a very popular travel startup in Chicago, and it's known for giving its perks. So this guy named Prashant, he said, Prabhu, please pray to Krishna that I get this job. I said, I will not pray to Krishna that you get this job. I'll pray to Krishna that he does what is best for you. And Prashant came back. He said, I did the interview, but I don't know if I'm going to get the job. And of course, he got rejected. He didn't get the job. He said, Prabhu, you didn't pray for me. That's why I didn't get the job. I said, look, I prayed what is best for you, and Krishna will do what is best for you. So he kept on applying for other things, and he applied to Amazon. And guess what? He got the job with Amazon with double the pay and equity options and everything else. And I was like, see, Krishna gave you something so much better. Why? You wanted orbits and you wanted me to pray for it. I didn't. I said, Krishna, do what is best for him. And that fellow is still in Amazon for the last 4 years, getting raises, doing extremely well, happily married in Seattle, and having a great life. So the point is, we think that God, when I pray to you, you should act in my way. No, Krishna is independent. He is God. He knows what is best for you. He will act in his way. And he knows what is best for you. So you might feel like, why is it going this way? I didn't want it this way. But Krishna's like, just hold on. Be patient. I know what is best for you. I will give you what is best for you. Right? He's a loving father. You have to realize it. We are all parts and parcels of Krishna. So he will never do something that is not good for us, especially when we take shelter of him. When we are the karma thing, do good, get good. Do bad, get bad. Automated process. When we are in bhakti, when we are trying to develop a relationship with Krishna, trying to surrender to Krishna, Krishna takes personal interest in our lives, and he makes sure he does what is best for us in his sweet way. It might not be our way, but it is Krishna's way, and it's far better. He's more intelligent than us. Please trust me. So Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 6, text 6, he says, for him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. So fear, if you understand, it is all happening in the mind. And we get very scared, or, that amplification process, because mind is our worst enemy. Krishna is saying it. An uncontrolled mind is your worst enemy. The mind being the worst enemy. So the mind makes us think like this. What if, right? Okay, I lose a job, but I don't have savings. It's not as bad as you think, right? You can upskill yourself. You can upgrade your skills, and you can be ready in case you lose a job. Right? You're ready for something. You can cut down on cost. So you can do a lot of practical things, but also know that there is also the spiritual element. There's effort and mercy. Both go hand in hand. Your sincere effort and Krishna's mercy, both. It's not that Krishna will just throw mercy at you, because you won't be able to catch it if you don't have the effort. Your effort is Krishna's throwing mercy, you're catching it, and you're going forward in life. Right? Both have to be there. It's practical. Bhagavad Gita is very practical. Arjun was not told, okay, Arjun, watch Netflix. Bhagavad Gita over. No, Arjun was told, you're going to fight this war. You're not going to the Himalayas. You're going to fight this war, and I'm going to help you to win this war. So Arjun fought fully. When it came to that, Arjun couldn't fight, and Bhishma Dev was throwing arrows. Krishna stood up, took the arrows for him. Krishna bled. And when it Bhishma Dev even broke the chariot. Krishna took the wheel of the chariot. I'm going to kill you, Bhishma Dev. Right? So Krishna takes charge. If you're not able to do it, he will take over, but he will empower you. He wants to see you're putting in your effort also while praying to Krishna. Krishna, I'm doing my 100%, and please help me. Please help me. Please empower me if you so desire. That's how you move forward. So here, there's a very important example Krishna gives, a very visual example of what happens, the anatomy of the mind. Now let's understand how the mind and the fear and all that. You see that's the soul, that's you, that's the Atma. Fearful, why? Because these horses, these are the 5 senses, the Pancha Indriya, right? The 5 senses, they are going here and there. Ears says, I want to hear this, I want to see this, I want to touch this, I want to smell this, right? It's all over the place. Life is confusing. I don't know what to do. The mind, the reins of the horses, that's the mind. If the intelligence doesn't hold on to the mind firmly, the senses will go in different directions. And what will happen? Eventually the chariot, which is the body, will capsize. You will fall. And in fear of that fall, the soul is completely fearful. And the Bhagavad Gita teaches us how to strengthen the mind. This is a blue guy, is the intelligence. He can hold on to the mind strongly. How? Through knowledge. So when you hold on to the reins of the horses, then the horses are controlled and you can bring the chariot to where you want to take it, right? And the soul will be happy. So let's understand this a little more practically. We don't use chariots in today's world. So let's say the mind. What does the mind do? It's a repository of all thoughts and desires. You're looking from a tall, high-rise building, looking down. Mind says, wouldn't it be nice to jump? Intelligence says, well, it hurt the last time you fell from bed. So jumping from here could kill you. And you're like, yeah, right. When I fell from bed, that hurt a lot. I should not jump. Right? How do you know? Because you fell from bed, that experience, that knowledge tells you that because you fell from bed that hurt, now you extrapolate that knowledge and you realize, oh my God, if I fall from this building, I'm going to definitely die. So this knowledge today, what is the source of knowledge? Facebook, Arnab Goswami, it's a joke, all these news channels, all these fellows. That's where we are getting our knowledge from. And we are fearful because the TV, the news channels, they make money by putting fear in our hearts. When we are fearful, we watch more news, and we get more fearful, we watch more news, and they show us ads, right? That's how it works. So knowledge strengthens intelligence or weakens intelligence. But when it comes from Bhagavad Gita, then you are strong. Your mind can be controlled by your intelligence. So there's a lot of things. So let's understand this very clearly. There is a senses, the 5 senses. Above the 5 senses is the mind. Above the mind is intelligence. Above the intelligence is fueled, strengthened by knowledge. A lot of times intelligence doesn't have a knowledge. So let's say, I'll give you a nice example. I was in my college days, me and my friends, my friend's birthday party, it was in a club. And there were 2 clubs side by side. And the club we were entering was called something purple, something club. Right next to it was the gentleman's club. And I saw the gentleman's club. It looked better. And these are all American friends. So I'm from India. I didn't know. I said, why are we not going to the gentleman's club? It looks better. And they all laughed at me. And I said, why are they laughing at me? Because if it was up to me, I would go to the gentleman's club. And they said, oh, Avelo, you're from India. In America, we call a strip club gentleman's club. Strip club means where women are naked and they're dancing and all that. I was like, oh, I didn't know. So when you don't know, the intelligence doesn't know how to decide, right? The knowledge is not there. The gentleman's club, I mean, gentlemen go, right? No, it's apparently a strip club. Okay. So they gave me knowledge, so I didn't go there. I went to my friend's birthday party in a normal club. Okay, so similarly, when there is no knowledge, intelligence gets confused, mind takes over. Mind says, do this because I'm telling you to do it. And then mind takes over the senses. And, if it is fear, if it is whatever, it's uncontrolled mind, worst enemy, right? So uncontrolled mind becomes your worst enemy and makes you do things that you shouldn't be doing. Like after breakup, the whole thing mind will do is tell you how awesome your lover was, even though that lover was the most abusive person ever. You'll think all the good things because the mind is your worst enemy. So your mind will make you think of all the things that are harmful. Then you'll start, intoxicating and doing all kinds of things that are hurtful to you, your mind and body. That's what the mind does. But when your intelligence is strengthened by knowledge, now you don't have knowledge of something. That's where Bhagavad Gita comes in. For example, you don't know what death looks like. Krishna says what death looks like. You don't know what old age looks like. Krishna will tell you what old age looks like. So you can prepare from your young age and you can be ready for old age. You can be ready for death any moment. When you have that knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, then you're prepared for life, right? That's why Krishna has given us the answer manual, the solution to life's problems in the form of the Gita. We have the option to read it or not. Most Hindus put it on a red cloth, put it up, and never read it. So we are starting the journey. So that's fantastic. So I'm sure everybody has done this, right? You've burnt something, paper and all, with magnifying glass. This man is a genius from Philippines. He makes all these wonderful paintings by burning, magnifying, the sun's rays through magnifying glass on wood. Similarly, same thing happens with meditation. Meditation is when we take the mind's energy and can focus it right? When you can focus it, like he was taking the sun's rays and focusing it, he's able to burn wood or burn paper. Similarly, when you take the mind's energy and you focus it, you can do anything, right? That's the power of meditation. So in Kali Yuga, the process that has been given to us is mantra meditation. Manaha trayate iti mantra. So mantra, if you break it into two parts, man means mind, and trayate means that relieves the mind. Mind release or free your mind. So there are certain mantras that relieve the mind, right? So let's go through Srimad Bhagavatam. It says, Kritaya Dhayato Vishnu. In Sakti Yoga, the process of perfection is Dhayato Vishnu. You have dhyan, you meditate on Vishnu. Tretayam Yajato Makhaye. In Treta Yoga, by performing sacrifices. So you do massive fire sacrifice, Ashwamedh Yagya, Gomedh Yagya. So fire sacrifice, you put ghee, swaha, right? All of that. Today we don't have so much money to do such great sacrifices, but that's for Treta Yuga. Then comes Dwapare Paricharanam. In Dwapar Yuga, temple worship, right? Worshipping the Lord in the temple. So all these wonderful temples in India, South India, North India, they are all during that Dwapar Yuga period. And Kalaotad Hari Kirtanat. The same benefit can be attained in Kali Yuga by simply chanting Hari Kirtan, the name of God. And this is not just our religion saying, there are other religions like Islam or Christianity or Buddhism, they say. I was sharing this, actually speaking to a Muslim audience in Dubai. And that's why you see the picture here in the below. Sufis, they're always chanting God's name, Allahu Akbar, God is great, right? So we say Hare Krishna or Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, right, etc. So we are chanting the name of Hari, right, name of God. So Kalau Tad Hari Sankirtanat. So in Kali Yuga, Hari Sankirtan is the perfect way. And the 16-syllable Hare Krishna Mahamantra has been given by many scriptures from Padma Purana, Karisantarana Upanishad, Srimad Bhagavatam. All the scriptures point to one mantra, and they call it the Maha Mantra, which has every mantra in it. The Gayatri mantra is in it. Every mantra you can think of is in the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So if you don't mind, wherever you are in your house or in your car, wherever you are, please chant with me on this auspicious day of Purushottam month, Ekadashi. Let's chant together just for once. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Right? Hare is Radharani, actually, energy of Krishna. So it's like Radhe Krishna, we say. So Hare Krishna. Krishna is God himself, and Rama or Balaram, a reservoir of all pleasure, right? So you're attracting Lord's energy. By calling out Krishna's name, Krishna personally appears to you. In Kali Yuga, Krishna comes in the form of his name. Kalautad Hari Kirtana. So Harinam, the name of Lord Hari, the name of Lord Krishna, right? That is the way to attain perfection in Kali Yuga. So what relieves the mind? So you're fearful, immediately start chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. 3 times do this. Fear will subside. Stress will be relieved. Now you can think. Pray to Krishna. My dear Krishna, please give me the intelligence so I can do what is needed at this time. Please empower me, Krishna. You pray to Krishna and you take the decisions and you face your difficulties, face your fears, and conquer your life, right? That's how we devotees do it, just like Arjun did. And always know that Krishna is in every living entity. The person you're fearful of, the person who you love, the person you don't care, everyone, God is everywhere. Pandita Samadarshana, a Pandit who is knowledgeable of this, from Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, he sees with equal vision. So the elephant or the dog or the dog eater or the Brahman or the cow, everywhere, Krishna is in everyone's heart. So, some of the persons who are here scared of certain situations that have happened bad in your life, especially I'm guessing they have some kind of sexual abuse or physical abuse or something like that. It's amazing what Krishna can do from within, right? Before internet, there is a larger internet. There is the connection of super soul. The same Paramatma who is in your heart is in my heart, is in the heart of the dog, in the heart of the cat, at the heart of the person you hate, the person you love. And he can inspire anyone to do anything. He can inspire. I'll give you a nice story. This sometime I'll give you a nice story. So there was a wonderful pious couple, and this lady, husband, wife, both of them were very, very poor, very poor. They had no money. And one day their guru said, sent his disciples saying that he will come to their house for a meal. And this lady said, oh God, what do I do? And she knew that the grocery store owner, he was very lusty, and he liked her and wanted to, spend the night with her. So she was feeling very horrible, but her guru was coming and she had no money to feed her guru. So she, at desperate situation, she just went to this grocer and said, sir, please give me all the groceries. And I promise you tonight, your whatever you want to do with my body, you can do. I will come to you personally and you can enjoy me. And this grocer was very lusty, and he was like, oh, good, really? Take whatever groceries you want. So this lady took all the groceries, went home, cooked a fantastic meal, and her guru came, and guru was eating, and he looked around the house, and he's like, seems like they're very, very poor. But so he asked, how come you guys are able to afford such sumptuous meal? So then the woman, she started crying, and she said, oh, Guru Maharaj, because you were coming, I went to this grocer who lusts me, and I told him that, whatever you want to do with me, you can do. But for now, give me the groceries. So the guru heard this, and he immediately stopped eating. He said, I see. You know what? Take this prasad that you've cooked and give it to that grocer when you see him in the night, and see what happens. So what happened was, she didn't know. So she, as promised, went to the grocer's house, and the grocer was like, ready, I'm going to have my lusty wish fulfilled. But she said, please eat this. This is some prasad I got for you. And when the grocer ate the prasad, he started crying. Tears were rolling down his eyes. It's like, you're a goddess. I don't know how I felt so lusty towards you. I'm so sorry that I'm here to exploit you. I wanted to, do these terrible things to you. Please forgive me. From now, please don't worry. Whatever groceries you want, you can always take it and you can offer it to your Krishna. No problem. I will never bother you. I will never. So his heart was transformed by eating prasadam. Heart changed. So you might think your past consequences cannot be changed. It can be changed when Krishna comes in your life, because Paramatma is within the heart. The dirtiness is just superficial. That can be cleaned very easily, and Krishna can do that. So the point is, when you're in this path, you will be amazed what Krishna can do. Doesn't mean difficulties won't be there. Difficulties will be there. You will go through those difficulties, come out victorious, and grow through life, right? You will grow through those difficulties. That's what Krishna wants. He wants, just like a jeweler cuts the diamond and it sparkles. Similarly, sometimes we go through difficulties even after coming to spiritual life, because those difficulties bring out the qualities from the heart, Krishna-like qualities, right? And then we become Krishnaized, we become Krishna-like. Wonderful qualities like honesty, patience, determination, right? Reverence, respect. All of these wonderful, compassion, kindness, right? These qualities come out. And for that, sometimes we might have to go through some hardships, and that's Krishna's way, but he will not let you down. Don't worry. You'll go through that roller coaster ride, but you will come out of it happy. You will come out of it victorious. That's Krishna's promise. So Krishna, now another inspiring verse from the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, Mamaivam sajiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha. He says, the living entity in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with 6 senses, which include the mind. So the 5 senses plus the mind is the 6th sense, right? So Krishna is saying, Mana Shashtani Indriyani Prakritis. So Shashtani means 6. So Manaha and the 5 senses. So what is conditioned life? Conditioned life means the illusory life that we are in, where we think we are this body. We are actually Atma. We are part of God. We have forgotten Krishna. It's like the dog who forgot his owner, right? You'll be scared as a dog. But if you have your owner, you know your owner has a stick. Any other dog will not be attacking you. You have food, your owner will feed you. You have your owner's car, you have your owner's bed, you have everything. So the conditioned life is we forget Krishna and we struggle alone. And devotional life is we know Krishna's hand is on our head. He's protecting us. He's feeding us. He's maintaining us. He's sustaining us. And thus we will always come out victorious as we go through this process of Krishna consciousness. Right? And this, this is a very interesting phenomena. The science of motivation. Whenever you feel dejected, you feel fearful, you feel depressed, you feel scared, go through this exercise. The belief system is, I am part and parcel of Krishna. Just like in the previous thing, it says that Krishna says, you're a fragmental part, eternal fragmental part of mine. You're always a part of mine. So similarly, the belief system we should have is, I am part of Krishna. By inheritance, I have access to everything, which means your potential is unlimited. And with unlimited potential, you can take any action. You can do anything and you will have amazing results. When you have amazing results, your belief system grows stronger. You become more powerful. Your faith develops and you realize, yes, Krishna is God. Yes, I have the inheritance. And yes, I can conquer my fear. I can conquer anything. I can do anything. And with that confidence, you take further action. You see further reactions. Your faith in Krishna grows even more potential. This is the story of my life. I am, for those of you who know me, know that I'm a very normal average guy I'm short. I don't have much intelligence. I don't have much, right? But I have always had this faith. As a child, I was bullied in school. I have always been made fun of for being short. I've gone through ups and downs in my startup life. When I'm in the down, people laugh at me. When I'm up, people glorify me. I've gone through all these. And the important thing is the belief system is I am part of Krishna. And that's why I can do anything. And I take massive leaps and the impossible becomes possible. And that builds my faith in Krishna, that I am not bound by what is in my karma bank account, but my inheritance is unlimited because my father is Krishna. And thus I take massive step. I go and see massive results, and a tiny Bengali guy from Calcutta, whatever little bit I have achieved today is because of that mindset, that thought process, that faith, that my inheritance is from my father, Krishna, right? I'll give you a nice, funny story. So in 2017, November, the cryptocurrency craziness was happening. I was in Hong Kong because one of my friends was launching a cryptocurrency coin, and he became a billionaire literally in 6 months. June, he started his company, and by November, he was launching. He was like, today we are $1 billion company. I was like, wow, how did that happen? So anyway, long story short, I learned from him about cryptocurrency, and I learned about all these Bitcoins and things like that. And put some pictures on Facebook, and somehow people started thinking that I'm an expert on blockchain technology. So I was invited in Delhi at a very amazing conference where there are 1,500 people, 50 countries represented, and some of the biggest blockchain guys from around the world, from Germany, from US, from Singapore. They have PhDs in blockchain, and they were speaking, and they told me, Avelo Roy, you will have to speak. I'm not an expert in this. They're like, you will have to speak. We wanted to speak. Please, sir, speak. So I had to speak at entrepreneurship in another panel, and here I was speaking at blockchain. And I was like, Krishna, what do I do? So even in the backstage, when I was talking to the other scientists of blockchain, they were literally from Harvard and MIT and all these, big places. And they looked at me. He's an entrepreneur. What is he doing here? I'm like, exactly. I don't know. The organizers wanted me to speak on this. And they were looking at me like, haha, we are PhDs. What are you? You're nothing. So I was like, yeah, I was like, so before getting on stage, I prayed like, Krishna, if you want to make a fool of me, feel free to make a fool of me. If you want to give certain words of intelligence in my mouth and I can say something, you can choose to do so. It's up to you. I was fearful. I was very fearful because I would be embarrassed in front of a lot of people and press media, right? And these are all experts and I don't know jack shit. I mean, I just know a little bit. Of course, I know a little bit, but not as much as them. Turns out all the questions and everything that these guys were answering were in jumbled words, acronyms, scientific, jugglery that people couldn't understand, a common man couldn't understand. And whatever questions I was asked, I was speaking in simple words and the whole audience could understand me. Guess what? When I got off stage, people were around me, surrounding me. I was the most popular speaker of all these scientists. And they were looking at me, how come this guy is getting all the attention? But it's Krishna. He gave me the right words, the right intelligence, the right thing at the right time. And somehow people could understand me. And actually 3 years later, somebody tells me like I was in that audience, and the only person I could understand on stage was you. Fine. So the point is, that's what Krishna does. Your inheritance is Krishna's giving. Krishna says, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. So whatever you have, I sustain. Whatever you don't have, I will carry for you. Right? I will carry for you, Krishna says. So whatever you have, Krishna will keep that. You have nothing to lose. Whatever you don't have, Krishna will carry for you. If I don't have intelligence, Krishna gives me some intelligence. I don't have words, Krishna gives me some words to speak. Oh, great. Sudama didn't have money, Krishna gave him a whole palace, right? Jewelry, everything, right? So Krishna can give anything to anyone. As long as your relationship is strong with Krishna, you're including Krishna in your life. He will not interfere in your life uninvited. He does not come uninvited. He has to be invited. That's the price you pay. So to have confidence in a person, you have to know the person, how he or she operates. So to know Krishna, that's why you have to understand who Krishna is. Krishna is not some energy. He's not a light bulb. He is not this and that. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it says, Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavaneti Shabdate. God has three aspects. Brahmeti, Brahman, which is all-pervading energy, right? That's one. That's the lowest aspect. That's one aspect of God. He's all-pervading everywhere. He's energy. Law of attraction, they say the universe. This is energy. Brahmeti. Paramatmeti. He's sitting in everybody's heart. He's in every atom. Right? He's in every atom. So he's in every part of his creation in the tiniest form as Paramatma. Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavaneti Shabdate. Bhagavan is, that's where he has a personality. God has a personality. That's Krishna has a personality. What does a personality look like? That means he has likes and dislikes. Paritranaya sadhuna vinashasya dushkrita. Paritrana sadhuna. People who are my devotees, I paritrana. I help them. I relieve them. I take the difficulties away. Vinashasya dushkrita. I destroy those who are dushkrita, who do bad things, who break religious principles, right? Dharma samsthapanarthaya. So he establishes dharma. Sambhava yuga yuga. Keep coming every yuga. Right? So Krishna is saying that. So he has likes and dislikes. He's a personality. When you pray to him, he responds, yes, what can I do for you? When you say, Hare Krishna, he says, yes, I'm listening. I'm right here with you, holding your hand. Let's walk together. So Krishna is not stone. Krishna is not just energy. Krishna has a personality. He's a supreme personality of Godhead and the supreme controller. So Lord Brahma, when he was asked by Narad Muni, his son, then my dear father, you must be God. You have created this entire universe. Lord Brahma said, no, I have a creator and his name is Krishna. And he defines what is God. He says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha Adir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam, which means Ishvara, which means controller. Parama Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna, which means supreme controller is Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna, like Parameshwar. Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. He is Sat, he is eternal. Chit, he is conscious. Ananda, he is always happy. Vigraha, he has a spiritual form. Adir Govinda, there's nobody above him, nobody before him. He is the oldest. Anadir Adi. Adi means old. Anadir Adi, there's nobody before him. He is a supreme. Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. He's a cause of all causes. If there's a cause, if there's a microphone, there's a creator of the microphone. And there are all these rubber and plastic and whatever there is in this microphone, the metal, they've come from earth. The earth has come from, so there's a source of a source of a source. We go to the end of all sources. That source is Krishna. And that is what we learn every Friday at 7:30 p.m. in our Bhagavad Gita study. We call it Philosophy Friday. So the number you see on the screen, you can WhatsApp this number if you're interested to know more about Krishna, build your relationship with Krishna through the words of Bhagavad Gita. And every Friday, 7:30 p.m. on Zoom for free, you can come and you can learn the Bhagavad Gita, and slowly your faith will develop. You will understand who is Krishna, how loving is Krishna, how Krishna operates, how he thinks, and how he wants us to act and react in our lives. And that way, you and I both, we will grow together in our journey towards Krishna. Also some gifts for you, in my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Avelo Roy. You can see a lot of Bhagavad Gita related videos as well as entrepreneurship related videos for those of you interested. But majorly you can see chapter by chapter summary, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, like that. There are summaries of chapters in 7 to 10 minutes. You can watch them. You can watch other spiritual videos on Hare Krishna TV, right? So a lot of my videos are there on the internet already. You can come join our Zoom Bhagavad Gita study where you can ask questions and we can learn together and grow our faith in Krishna, right? And if you ever have questions, you can always ask me on Instagram or LinkedIn. You can connect with me on Instagram. You just search Avelo Roy. I'm the only one with that name in this entire world, Avelo Roy. So just find me and search me and you'll be able to find me.